This is Alberta to Arizona. I'm your host, Tracy Gray, real estate investor. And with me is my husband, Devin Gray, who is also a real estate investor and a professional real estate agent. And he's with Mogul Realty Group here in Edmonton and EXP. And then down in the States, we've got Diane Brennan, and she is with Coldwell Banker, professional real estate agent down there. So we're comparing the differences between buying and selling and investing real estate in Canada and in the States to give you an idea of what it's like if you're in Canada, you want to buy in the States or vice versa. Any questions that you guys have about that, you can definitely direct them to them. And then Diane, last time we had our video together, you didn't get a chance to talk about the markets down there. So did you want to talk about the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona area markets?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've definitely slowed down a bit here. First of all, Devin, I can't help but laugh. You look so serious and you're not smiling, but you're wearing that lovely Christmas sweater.
That's what makes it.
He's like stone face though.
Yeah.
I'm the grumpy elf.
Yeah.
He's an angry elf, apparently.
He's the angry elf. He's the angry elf. I love your shirt. The weather here, gosh, I think we're close to 70 degrees here. Let me look this up. It's hot and sunny. So
I don't know if I want to hear. Hang on.
70
if you want to
degrees,
compare
that's
real
about
estate,
20. There's about a 55 to 60 degree difference between where you are and where we are right now.
Yeah.
Gross.
One of the differences between the two. What are we? Oh, actually, I lied. Oh no, it's supposed to get up to 66 degrees today. So
66.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about 18 or 19, I suppose.
Let's see. Subtract 30 and divide by 2. 66 in so I'll tell you about the market here. So things, yeah, we don't have as many listings coming on.
About 19 or 20 degrees.
Yeah. Can I do the two things at once? I can't talk and do this at once. Anyway, if you divide or you subtract 30, so that's 30. Yeah, divide by 2 is 17. Yeah, or so.
Or you just use a converter calculator.
Well, I know, but this is what I'm trying to, and I was trying to talk and
keep in mind we're metric and imperial all the time, so we're always having to convert square meters to square feet. So
got you.
We have to have everything in square meters on our MLS listing, but nobody talks square meters. Everyone's talks square feet. So I know what an 1,100 square foot house looks like, but I have no idea what a 82 square meter house looks like.
I know. And I'm looking at property in Europe. Not that I'm buying anything, just, dreaming, and everything's in the meters. And I'm like, 25 square meters, like that is tiny. But anyways, then I have to convert it to, so I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. So
getting better though, getting better.
Yeah. So our prices are actually higher than a year ago, but sellers are now giving a lot more concessions. So because interest rates are higher, they're actually able to contribute to help buyers buy down points, so they get actually a decent interest rate. A lot of our home builders, so if rates are at 7%, they're offering 5% to entice buyers to come buy new home builds, and sellers are giving concessions quite a bit in order to help buyers out and stuff down here. During the holidays, we don't see a lot of listings come on. We kind of really ramp up by the end of January historically, and we go nonstop until our highest month of closings is typically July. So we're waiting to see that if we get more properties, which I'm sure we will. There's still people that have to sell here, and we'll see what's happening. But right now it's definitely a situation where we're seeing a lot of job losses in the mortgage industry here, a lot of layoffs, because we just don't have the volume that we used to. When the market was going crazy, there was a lot of hiring, and then now things have slowed down. So a lot of people who became real estate agents will really see who, is going to have to find other employment here, because there's just not enough listings to be able to support the amount of agents here, which are 70,000. So we have,
that's an amazing number for sure. There's certainly talk about, it's a difficult time for new agents, and yet at the same time, we also tell them it's a great time to start, because when things are good, you'll have all this wonderful knowledge, and you won't, it's more difficult to start when things are good. And then when things go bad, that's, I think a lot of agents get out because they don't realize how difficult it can be. Whereas if you get in at a tough time, then you don't know anything different.
and you don't kind of learn the skills to be able to talk to
That's-
people and nurture your leads and all of that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's wonderful though when business just falls into your lap. We all like it, no matter how long you've been in the business. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, we wouldn't turn that away. Business just landing in your lap.
Yeah, I have to admit that my background of radio sales has been very beneficial to me, because advertising is first to cut and during bad times, and it's last to add as everything starts to get better. So it certainly is you can draw upon experiences from just knowing that, that's where you really have to get out there and continue to make contacts with people and help find solutions for people, because real estate does transact every day. I don't think in the history of Edmonton, and I'm sure down in Phoenix, regardless of the market, that there's ever been a day where there's been zero sales. I'm sure there's always been a few at least.
Yeah, and definitely have to stay flexible, because the market, there's always opportunity even in a down market. So I started when the market crashed here in 2008, but I started in real estate in 2010, and everyone thought I was crazy because everyone was giving up their real estate license. But the Canadian dollar was at par with the US dollar, so I saw that opportunity there, and it was just a matter of educating people like, look, this is a great investment opportunity. And then, when Canadians start buying and then they tell their friends, look, we've got a pool now for this cheap and everything's on a discount, it ended up being a really great way to start my career. And having to educate people on the great opportunities here and stuff. So while a lot of people were saying doom and gloom, I was like, no, this is pretty good for my people.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point, because that's the key to real estate is you want to buy when the prices are low and sell when the prices are high. But when the prices are low, often there's doom and gloom that causes those low prices. And so you kind of get encapsulated in that, like doom and gloom. So you're not spending money, right? People are hanging on to it. And so that's a really good point for you to be like, no, you guys have to see the bright side of this. The prices are low. This is when you should be buying.
Yeah,
this is when
for
it
sure.
should be busy. Yeah.
Well, now there's a lot of fear in the media too, like, is the market crashing? And I mean, everyone has to look at their individual situations. If you have to sell and you have to buy, then, that happens. People just can't stop moving their jobs, move them other places. And there has to be real estate when there's done. And then obviously everyone here has been waiting for prices to just completely fall. And we don't see if we're seeing that. We see things kind of leveling off price wise, but we're still higher, price per square foot. I don't know what that is per square meter here than a year ago, but with the concessions, sellers having to give more concessions now, then, it's kind of evening out and stuff, but we're not seeing huge dismal drop in prices or anything like that. So
you said things are starting to level out. So what is the prediction for the Arizona market come 2023?
Well, just that they see prices not dropping a ton. Buyers will be able to get some good deals. We'll have to see in January how much new inventory we get. And we're just going to see a lot of people lose their jobs, as I said, in the mortgage industry and real estate agents, because we just don't have the numbers to be able to, do the business for that many people who have their license. So we're going to see a lot of people change jobs and get out of the industry. But in terms of amounts, we're going to see the agents that have been around a long time, continue to do the majority of business. I'm sure, like in Canada, if it's true, the same as down here, it's 80% or it's 90% of the agents it's 10% of the agents doing 90% of the business. Do you guys, have you heard that quote up there?
I would say that for sure.
Yeah.
I think that, we're a much lower number, but of course we're a smaller market, but it feels like a lot. We're a little over 4,000 agents for the Edmonton area now. And I think that certainly for the most part, I come across the same agents all the time, either on the buyer or the seller side, but it's a very inflated number. I'm sure this is the same thing in Phoenix. We get a lot of people that have actually parked their license. So they're still counted as part of that 4,000 agents, but they're not actively transacting in real estate. They just figure, well, it's easier for me to pay the $300 every year to the Real Estate Council of Alberta to keep my license current than to let it lapse. And then if I do need to get back into realtoring down the road, I've got to go through the whole testing process, which is a few $1,000s and several months. So there's that. There's definitely some part-time real estate agents where they've got their license, they're kind of active, but they do other things. And then a third category is flippers, where basically, and I've helped one person buy and sell a house that he flipped while he was getting his license, and basically just wanted to cut out the middleman. He didn't want to have to wait for comparables. He wanted access to the MLS, and then of course wanted to have the opportunity to sell his own home. But he, funny enough, people migrate towards good people, and he's a good person and he's well connected, and so he has taken on a couple of listings and he has helped some people buy houses, but it's not where his focus is. And so from that standpoint, I don't know what that number would be, but I probably anticipate myself, I don't know about necessarily maybe it is the 10% to 90%. I always have figured that it's maybe about 25%, but that certainly could be high. I'd have to think about that, but there's definitely a lot of people that aren't really fully engaged, like you and I are.
Yeah. We have, it's so easy to get your license here in Arizona that's why we have 70,000. So
that's why.
Yeah. So, but the problem is we have so many, when the market gets good, we have so many people as new agents coming on because it's so cheap. There's a lot of agents that would like to make it tougher and more expensive. So you kind of weed out those people, because what they do is they come into the business, they take a couple of deals, they're not necessarily really educated on the market, and then they end up dropping off. So it affects, income for agents who are well-versed in it, experienced, and they do this full time. So when the market's crazy, when, prices were shooting up, all these people decided to get their real estate license, and then, it's just not sustainable for a lot. So then they drop off. So it's kind of like a cycle like that. So.
Well, and it probably, these unfortunately, because it sucks to go through this, and I go back to my days in radio, where it is kind of like these big cleansings. I know it was a challenge for us. Of course, our upper management is wondering why our sales are down, and it's like, well, let's take a look. 10% of my account list, they've gone out of business, right? So how am I supposed to draw any more money from them? So there's that. And then, there's another good percentage of the stronger businesses that basically would go and say, hey, look, I'm cutting your spend by 25%. Be happy about that, because I've completely dropped these 3 or 4 other radio stations. And oh, by the way, I expect twice as much service from you. So, you're having to provide more service for less money. And then in the meantime, having to go and, replace all that business that was lost because they've gone out of business. So again, the strong ones survived, and there was definitely a lot of people each time we went through that, that just completely got out of the radio industry altogether as a salesperson and moved on to other things. And so I certainly see that in real estate as well. Unfortunately, people, there's a lot to be said for, easy barrier of entry, and certainly compared to lawyers and doctors and other service professionals. Well, we're all under that umbrella. There definitely is an easier barrier of entry as a real estate agent compared to some of those other service professionals.
But in Canada, to get your license is a lot tougher than the US.
For sure. I would say for sure. And it varies. I'm sure it's down in the States as well. It varies from market to market.
I don't know anywhere else other than Arizona, but we're pretty cheap here. So I'm sure it is tougher in other states. But for the listener, go ahead.
I was going to say, Devin treated it like a full-time job when he took the course for it. And he was doing it basically 8:30 to about 5 o'clock every day. He would study and then do the exams as they came on. And it took him just a little over 3 months doing it that way. And like I said, treating it like a full-time job. So there are some people that will take a little longer doing it. A friend of mine, she took the full year, because I guess from when you first sign up for it, you have to have the final test done within a year, and you kind of have that whole time frame. So she just did a little bit here, a little bit there, and kept going. And then just at the last minute, like I think she had like 2 days before it was going to expire, she ran in and finished her last test. So to get your license here in Canada, it is pretty intense.
So, and then not to discourage or say that new agents are bad. For the people that are watching and you're looking for a realtor, you know, new agents can be great. What I would just suggest is make sure you ask questions, that they have a great broker, that they have an experienced person that they work with. So as you're listening to this and you're going, how is this affecting me? You know, ask in your interview with your agent to find out, first of all, who's the best suited for you personality wise. You're going to be spending a lot of time together, a lot of time talking together. So have those conversations, and I'll go with the person, number one, that you feel most comfortable with, but also ask about their background. And it's fine if they're new. You've got some of the best agents that are brand new and hardest working. You know, just make sure that they have the support. And a lot of them do with their company, to make sure that all their questions can be answered, and that they're very familiar with the system. So I don't want to discourage and say, you know, new agents are terrible, talk badly about them. There's some great ones. So Devin and I were both great when we started out.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that you would get asked from somebody. Oh, you're a real estate agent? And say, how long have you been? Like that was, it was almost part of that same sentence.
Actually, funny enough, because I'm old, I didn't get that asked very often. People just automatically assume that I've been an agent for, oh, you must be doing this for like 20 years. But
well, the answer, the answer you're supposed to give, it feels like forever.
Yeah. There are some people that are much younger on the Mogul team, and they do definitely get it asked a lot. But I agree with you 100%. I mean, especially if they might have another type of sales background, and they might be new to real estate, but they certainly understand sales and providing exceptional customer service.
Yeah.
And then the other thing as well is that, and again, we experienced this in radio sales, is that do you want to go with the experienced person that has, you know, all these multiple massive accounts that dominate all their time, and they really don't have too much time to really dedicate to a new piece of business? Or do you want to go with that brand new rep who, like, you might be the biggest thing they've got going on, and they're going to spend all their time making sure that they're providing you great customer service? And so I would definitely suggest that there's that benefit for a new agent as well. You covered it great, Diane, in regards to asking questions and really making sure, and a good agent should be asking this anyways, you know, what's important to you, how much do you want to be communicated to, and those types of things. But no, by all means, I think that new agents that have been attached to good instructors and mentors and brokers and stuff like that will work out best.
Yeah, as long as they have a great support system. So you just find that out. So we don't want to poo-poo all the so easy to get your license and they're letting everyone in. We don't want to slam them as much. But just to further answer your question about the market down here, one thing that's different, and it's all about educating people, right? When the market changes and stuff. So when the market crashed, when I got into it, it's about educating Canadians about a great investment opportunity here, personally, and for their portfolios, their investment portfolios. But also here, and now we're telling people, because the market is interest rates are high and the market is slowed down a bit, that it's still a great time to buy if you need to buy. We can always refinance here with interest rates. So if you buy now, interest rates go higher, great. Interest rates go higher, you're locked in for 30 years here. If they go lower, we can always refinance here, which is an incredible benefit here without having a prepayment penalty or anything like that. So that's what we're telling our clients right now that need to purchase. So you date the rate, you marry the house. So find, you know, where you want to live, and you can always refinance that rate. And sellers are helping out tremendously. So it's not, you know, it softens the hit of these high interest rates. Where are you guys with interest rates?
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation that we're having, because so interest rates for variable right now are about 6.5%. Fixed is lower, so that would be a fixed rate that you're locked in at 3 to 5 years. So the big question is, do you attach yourself to a variable rate, knowing that rates are going to continue to go up? I mean, basically, we already know that we for sure are going to see at least 2 or 3 more and who knows, ultimately, I've always got to qualify that, but you know, rates will continue to most likely go up. It's the only tool in the Bank of Canada's toolbox to try to slow down inflation and spending and try to get everything under control. So do you go with variable knowing that in the short term things are going to go up, but then 18 months or 2 years from now, have those variable rates drop down to below, say, 3%. And in the meantime, because you didn't want to pay the variable, you've tied into this fixed rate for 3 or 5 years, and 2 years down the road, you are paying more of an interest rate because variable have dropped. So there is a you know, and there's two ways of thinking. On one hand, it can be quite frustrating, but on the other hand, you know, it can be presented as, well, it's your choice. If you want fixed, you know, everything fixed and everything secured and you know, peace of mind and not worry about it for 3 or 5 years and go with fixed. If you're prepared to attach yourself to a higher interest rate now, knowing that there's a good chance that once inflation drops, and which means the variable rate drops, that you'll be paying less down the road, then you should stick with the variable rate. From an investor standpoint, most investors go with variable rate because 8 or 9 times out of 10, you're going to win out. But certainly it has been a real challenge for those that were certainly enjoying that variable rate over the course of COVID, you know, chunking away big time down on the principal or enjoying big cash flow. And now, you know, their expenses are several $100s higher per month because the interest rates have gone up so much and will continue to go up. So those are the conversations that mortgage brokers and lenders and bankers are having with both homeowners and investors right now. And that's basically the choice that you have to make when you're in Canada.
Do you guys have a lot of activity when it's 40 below, the weather that you've been experiencing?
It's definitely less. I think anything in real estate is pros and cons. The con is that, yeah, you do get a lot of people canceling, but it's nice to not have to be out there. The pro is that if you've got somebody that still wants to go and shop, they're pretty serious. They definitely are a qualified person that wants to buy. And so I have in about 90 minutes, I'm showing an investor 4 properties. That's a 4-property portfolio. So he's pretty serious. And then later today, I've got a homeowner who has made it very clear that he wants to be in a new place by end of January, early February. So we're seeing 2 houses for him as well.
And what's the temperature today, to give everybody an idea?
Well,
it up on my phone.
It's minus 30 something.
Yeah.
Minus
So
30.
It's 31.
Yeah.
So what's that in
minus
in Fahrenheit? For the Americans watching, what does that mean for them?
Minus 31 in Fahrenheit.
I know minus 40, we're close.
Oh, I thought it had the option where it does that.
It's minus 24 Fahrenheit. Do you even know what that is?
Well, Diane,
I know what that is.
Diane does.
Yeah,
She knows.
too well.
Well,
I've hit every ditch in that weather as well.
This is the reason she moved to Phoenix.
Yeah,
there's the conversion there. So
oh, very cool.
21 Celsius is minus 24 Fahrenheit.
So it's beautiful here. If anyone wants to, I keep saying that I should put up a billboard when it's that cold in Edmonton. Like, you could be here in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah. Well, and we've been saying that the universe is pushing us towards warmer temperatures because the window fell in our truck. It fell right into the door, and I had to drive half an hour out to Sherwood Park with the window down in minus 30 temperatures. So I look like trains, planes, and automobiles when they were driving that burnt out car with no windows.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
So I guess it's just a plastic piece that holds it in there, and in the cold temperatures, the plastic breaks, and it's a nice $1,000 to get it fixed. To replace that, a cool $1,000. My key fob went, so my car starter is not working. That's another $300. Our tire is low, and they said we can't fill it until the temperatures warm up because I guess it's too cold to fill your car tire. And just as I was saying, maybe the universe is telling us we need to move somewhere warm. Our furnace died on one of the coldest days we've had. And
oh my gosh,
for a couple hours, we got it fixed again.
Yeah, Devin fixed it. Devin fixed the furnace.
Did it chill out pretty quickly?
Probably. I'm going to say probably after about an hour, it had gotten. You could just feel it in the house, and so when I went up to take a look, it had dropped 2 degrees from what we had it set at, and that made a big difference. So I knew and then you crank it up and it wouldn't work. And so this happens probably every 3 years, where you have to take the sensor out because it gets covered with like calcium and soot and whatever it does, because it's inside the burner, and so the burner is just burning away at it, because that's what helps to sense when it's it's dropped and it's cold in the house and the furnace has to kick in. And so when the sensor is covered in this, it can't sense it. So because it can't sense it, it doesn't fire, and so you just have to clean it. So it probably took me about 15 minutes to clean it, and then
well, good job.
I'm so proud, right?
We
So
encourage
proud
our
of
clients
that.
to get their air conditioner serviced twice a year.
I can't even imagine that right now.
Seriously, like
Oh.
2 weeks ago, I still had the AC on. I was like, it's a little hot. Yeah. So
All right. Well, on that
time for you
note,
guys to have a vacation and come down here and look at property down
go.
here for sure.
okay. Yeah, but in the meantime, we got to wrap up the show. So Diane, how can they reach you if they have some questions about what we talked about today, or just real estate in general?
Sure. And I have a buyer advisory that I can send out to people that had great links on it about the area and also about the process of purchasing property here. And I'm happy to email anyone that. My email is can'trememberheremail@gmail.com. And my phone number is 602-620-2277. And I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty. Global luxury.
And Devin, how can they reach you?
EXP Realty and the Mogul Realty Group. My email is Devin, DEVIN @mogulrg.com. Cell is 780-951-9279.
I'm still laughing because it's so hard to see Devin be so serious on that with that shirt on, and he looks like he lost his puppy.
Oh, oh no.
Like
Sad-
60780.
Sad because it's -30 out.
Yeah, I know.
And he's ready for the holidays.
Can you see the sunshine? This is the sunshine here. This is what it looks like, everybody. See that?
Well, we're sunny too.
Oh, we've got the sun.
Always,
It's not doing a darn thing.
We're
for
always
us,
we're always very sunny here. It's just
I'm sorry. I
you
feel
step
bad.
outside and go, what the heck?
You're gonna make my elf grumpy again.
Well, I know a great realtor if you need one down south here. And
All
you
right,
could,
we'll keep that in
you
mind.
guys could be here.
That's right. Thank you, Diane. And we do enjoy these chats, so you never know. Stranger things have happened. Anyway, yes, thank you for watching the show. This is Alberta to Arizona. Thanks for watching.